Pearson Test of English academic vocabulary with description and a using cases. These are words for effective passing of Pearson Test of English academic exam from the official preparation site. The word, its description and usage are provided. Happy learning. Word set 6 starts now. Derelict. Derelict has two main meanings. 1. Neglected, abandoned, or in a state of disrepair. 2. A person who has willfully neglected their responsibilities or duties. The abandoned building stood as a derelict structure, slowly decaying over the years. Descend. Descend has two main meanings. 1. To move downward or lower from a higher position. 2. To be passed down or inherited through generations, often referring to traits or characteristics. I watched the airplane slowly descend towards the runway during its landing. Descent. Descent has two main meanings. 1. The act or process of moving downward from a higher position. 2. An individual's heritage or lineage, often traced through generations. The mountain climber carefully documented his descent from the peak in his journal. Designate. Designate has two main meanings. 1. To officially assign or appoint a specific role, purpose, or status to something or someone. 2. To indicate or specify something clearly. The sign on the door will clearly designate the conference room for the meeting. Desolate. Desolate has two main meanings. 1. Bare, empty, and devoid of life, often describing a landscape. 2. Feeling abandoned, lonely, or miserable, often in an emotional sense. The desert was so desolate that there was not a single living creature in sight. Despair. Despair has two main meanings. 1. A feeling of hopelessness and loss of faith in the face of adversity. 2. The complete absence of hope or optimism. In the face of overwhelming adversity, he couldn't help but feel a deep sense of despair. Deter. Deter has two main meanings. 1. To discourage or prevent someone from taking a particular action or pursuing a certain course. 2. To hinder or restrain through fear or doubt. Deterrence is a powerful strategy in preventing conflicts. Detest. Detest has two main meanings. 1. To feel intense and vehement dislike or hatred toward something or someone. 2. To regard with extreme aversion or abhorrence. I detest the taste of olives. Detriment. Detriment has two main meanings. 1. Harm, damage, or disadvantage caused to something or someone. 2. A state of being harmed or negatively affected. His procrastination was to his own detriment, as he missed the deadline for the project. Dilate. Dilate has two main meanings. 1. To expand or enlarge, often referring to the widening of pupils or blood vessels. 2. To speak or write at length, elaborating on a topic. The doctor used eye drops to dilate my pupils for the examination. Diligent. Diligent has two main meanings. 1. Marked by steady, earnest, and careful effort or work. 2. Characterized by attentiveness and persistence in one's tasks or responsibilities. She was diligent in her studies, always completing assignments on time and reviewing her notes regularly. Dilute. Dilute has two main meanings. 1. To make a substance thinner or less concentrated by adding a liquid. 2. To weaken or diminish the strength or effectiveness of something. He needed to dilute the concentrated orange juice with water to make it drinkable. Dim. Dim has two main meanings. 1. Lacking in brightness or clarity, often referring to light or visibility. 2. Having a subdued or faint quality, as in a dim memory. The dim light in the room created a cozy atmosphere. Din. Din has two main meanings. 1. A loud, continuous, and discordant noise, often associated with a crowd or machinery. 2. A clamorous or persistent commotion or uproar. The din of traffic outside the window made it difficult to concentrate. Dine. Dine has two main meanings. 1. To have a meal, especially a formal one, often in a restaurant. 2. To eat supper or the evening meal. We decided to dine at the new Italian restaurant downtown for our anniversary. Dingy. Dingy has two main meanings. 1. Dirty, dark, or shabby in appearance, often due to lack of cleanliness. 2. Lacking in brightness or vividness, as in dingy colors. The basement of the old house was quite dingy, with cobwebs and dusty corners. Disarray. Disarray has two main meanings. 1. A state of confusion, disorder, or disorganization. 2. To cause something to be in a state of disorder or chaos. The sudden arrival of unexpected guests threw the party into disarray. Discern. Discern has two main meanings. 1. To perceive or recognize something, often with precision or insight. 2. To distinguish or differentiate between things with clarity and understanding. It was difficult to discern the details of the painting in the dimly lit gallery. Discord. Discord has two main meanings. 1. A lack of harmony or agreement, often leading to conflict or disagreement. 2. A harsh or unpleasant combination of sounds. The ongoing discord between the two political parties hindered progress on important legislation. Disdain. Disdain has two main meanings. 1. A feeling of contempt or scorn towards something or someone. 2. To treat with contempt or scorn, often through a dismissive attitude or behavior. She couldn't hide her disdain for the rude behavior of the other driver on the road. Dismay. Dismay has two main meanings. 1. A sudden loss of courage or resolution due to fear, anxiety, or disappointment. 2. To cause someone to feel fear, anxiety, or disappointment. The unexpected news of the project's cancellation filled the team with dismay. Dismiss. Dismiss has two main meanings. 1. To formally or informally remove or release someone or something from a position, duty, or responsibility. 2. To disregard or reject something as unimportant or unworthy of consideration. The manager had to dismiss the employee for repeatedly violating company policies. Dispatch. Dispatch has two main meanings. 1. To send off or transmit something, often a message or package, with promptness and efficiency. 2. The act of sending off or dealing with something promptly. The courier promised to dispatch the package to its destination by the end of the day. Dispel. Dispel has two main meanings. 1. To make something such as doubts or fears, disappear or vanish. 2. To drive away or scatter something, like a crowd or darkness. The scientific research helped to dispel the myths surrounding the ancient artifact. Dispose. Dispose has two main meanings. 1. To arrange or place things in a particular order or position. 2. To deal with or handle something, often by getting rid of it. I will dispose of the old furniture once the new one arrives. Dissolve. Dissolve has two main meanings. 1. To become or cause something to become liquid or blend into a solution. 2. To bring an organization or relationship to an end. When you stir sugar into hot tea, it will dissolve completely. Distend. Distend has two main meanings. 1. To expand or swell, often due to pressure or an increase in volume. 2. To stretch or extend something physically, such as a muscle or a container. After eating a large meal, his stomach started to distend noticeably. Diversion. Diversion has two main meanings. 1. A form of entertainment or activity that diverts or distracts attention from routine or serious matters. 2. A detour or alternate route, often used in transportation. The park offers various forms of diversion, including playgrounds, walking trails, and a small lake for boating. Dole. Dole has two main meanings. 1. A charitable distribution of food, money, or other necessities to the needy. 2. To distribute or give out something in a limited or reluctant manner. The charity organization decided to dole out food and supplies to the needy families in the community. Doom. Doom has two main meanings. 1. A grim or inevitable fate or outcome, often associated with disaster or destruction. 2. To destine or condemn something or someone to a negative fate or outcome. The ancient prophecy foretold the kingdom's doom if the dark sorcerer wasn't defeated. Downpour. Downpour has one main meaning. 1. A heavy and sudden rainfall or rainstorm, often characterized by a rapid and substantial amount of precipitation. We had to take shelter under a tree during the heavy downpour. Drawback. Drawback has two main meanings. 1. A disadvantage or inconvenience associated with something. 2. A refund or reduction in cost, often used in the context of customs duties or taxes. One drawback of the new software is its lack of compatibility with older operating systems. Dreary. Dreary has two main meanings. 1. Dull, bleak, and gloomy in appearance or atmosphere. 2. Boring or monotonous, often referring to a tedious or uninteresting situation. The constant rain and overcast skies made the entire week feel dreary and gloomy. Drench. Drench has two main meanings. 1. To soak or saturate something completely with liquid. 2. To become thoroughly wet, often as a result of heavy rainfall. The sudden downpour caught us off guard and drenched us to the bone. Drowse. Drowse has two main meanings. 1. To be in a half-asleep or drowsy state, neither fully awake nor fully asleep. 2. To make someone feel drowsy or sleepy. After a long day of hiking, he began to drowse off in his cozy sleeping bag.